I was watching a TV show and these characters needed to talk to each other, but they couldn't because they were being watched. So I started to think, is there a way to use memory techniques to talk in secret code? And it turns out there is. So you might have something like memory techniques are awesome. Then you encode it. And then someone else will come along with, oh yeah, that makes sense. So this same concept could be applied to memory techniques. Now the only thing that has to happen is that you and this other person have to have the same images because it won't work otherwise. So let's say you have these 10 images, but instead of a dice, someone else has, I don't know, a pizza for whatever reason. Now, why this doesn't work is because if you're saying dice, 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 the other person doesn't know what dice represents because the encoded part are these images, okay? That's the secret code. And so if your images don't line up, then you can't really talk about anything. But if both of you have the exact same set of images, so let's say your password is, I don't know, a trident eating dice. So maybe that's the password to your Wi-Fi, your friend's over, and there's all these other people you don't want to have your Wi-Fi for some reason. And your friend asks you, hey, what's the Wi-Fi? You're like, oh, it's a trident eating a dice. And you're like, okay. And everyone else is like, that was weird. And so in your head, you're like, okay, trident eating a dice, 3 dice 6. Oh, okay, the password is 36. And so that's how it works. Now, it's kind of hard because if you want a more complicated system, which you probably will want, so like a 2-digit number system, you have 100 images. You have to agree on all of the images because if you change any without telling the other person, now you're not able to talk. And it doesn't only apply to a number system. It could be an alphabet system, a name system. Maybe there's someone you want to talk about, but you want to say the person's name in the same room as these other people, because maybe one of those people is that person's friend. You're like, okay, hey, this toilet came in the other day, and the toilet was just so rude. And the person's like, what is this guy talking about this toilet for? So for me, John is a toilet, use the John. And so you're able to use your image as a way to talk about someone. Not that you should or anything, but you get the idea behind it. And so that's probably the hardest part, is agreeing upon the images. Now for some things like words, unless you have a set amount of words that you want to use, then you can create images for it. But if you don't, you can't really create images on the spot because there's so many words out there. How's the other person going to know what you're coming up with for the images, right? And so if you want to talk in code, it has to be either your alphabet system so you can spell things out, or your number system, name system, whatever it may be. But if you do want to talk like in words actually, then you might have to agree upon these set of words and then the images to them. But at the end of the day, all you're doing is just saying these weird stories with images. And then the other person is able to decode them. And if people do not know any of this, there is no way they could ever decode it, because the images are going to be special to you and your friend or friends. And if they don't do memory techniques, they have no clue what's going on, right? They're like, why are these people always saying these weird stories to each other? It doesn't make any sense. But to you guys, you're like, yeah, we have the secret information, we're passing it along. So I thought that was pretty cool because we see something like this, like, whoa, you really could encode information, but instead of actually having like words or something, all you're doing is just sharing these stories and images, which is really fast, right? Because you're like, hey, picture this pink elephant. Boom, you have the pink elephant, and then oh yeah, the pink is the 7th. Oh yeah, the elephant is May. Oh yeah, this person's birthday is May 7th. Boom. So I really like this idea. One day I would like to create something like this with someone, but of course the other person has to agree to learning the system, because right now I am very stubborn with my number system because I've been using that for so long. So it might be a little bit harder to kind of use that, but I would love to have a secret code with somebody, saying all these weird images and stories in front of people. They probably think we're crazy, but we would have a lot of fun. So hopefully you enjoy this video, and I'll see you next time.